Welcome to the final topic of Module 8, Computer Forensics. We will begin by defining computer forensics, and then we will list and discuss the various components of a computer. We will discuss how data is stored in a computer, and then define digital evidence. We will discuss the difference between visible and latent data, and finally, the 4 steps which are used in the handling of digital evidence. If we first talk about what exactly is computer forensics, computer forensics involves the preservation, identification, extraction, documentation, and interpretation of computer media. The usage of computers and other electronic data storage devices leaves footprints and data trails of their users. So exactly how does this happen? If we think about how things become electronic data, let's discuss how a computer works. A computer is divided into hardware and software. The hardware is the physical components of the computer itself. So it's going to be things such as the power supply, the motherboard, the central processing unit, the read-only memory, the random access memory, things like this, the actual hardware of the computer itself. The software is going to be any programs with instructions that utilize the physical components of the computer. So, how exactly does a computer work? That power supply delivers the power to the motherboard, which will boot up the operating system. Then the individual can select a program, causing the CPU to process the request. This will open up the program into RAM, allowing it to be viewed on the monitor. Then the individual can start working or typing whatever they're wanting to do within that program itself. If the document that they're creating is printed, it is processed by the CPU and then sent to the printer. If the document is saved, the CPU sends it through the system bus to the hard drive. It is the storage and the ability to retrieve data from the hard drive that is so important in forensics and computer examinations. A hard drive is actually made of a platter that is coated with a magnetic material. The data is stored as magnets induce and detect magnetic fields, leaving deposits as a unique code on that hard drive. The hard drive is divided into various sectors so that retrieving data can be easily done by that operating system. There is a lot of computer evidence that can involve a lot of different crimes or misuses. It can be divided into non-business environment or business environment. Both of these can have actual criminal investigations associated with them. So if we initially think about non-business environments, it might be something such as forgeries or perjuries, theft of trade secrets. And then there's also going to be the business environment that may be taken into consideration. Things like unauthorized activity, selling company bandwidth, a lot of different things that document or the computer document examiner can retrieve from that hard drive of the computer itself. In both of these situations, the information is going to assist in the arrest and the prosecution termination of employment in some instances, and preventing future illegal activities. So exactly what is digital evidence? We can think of this as being any information that is extracted from the computer itself. It must be in a human readable format or capable of being interpreted by a person with the expertise in that subject. So examples of digital evidence might be something as simple as deleting or retrieving a lot of deleted emails, or retrieving a lot of photographs that had been saved or deleted from a computer. Before identification or analysis of the data can begin, a forensic image of that data stored on the hard drive must be done and collected, so that it can be shown that nothing else has changed to that computer or to that data during the retrieval process. Once the copy has been made of that data from the hard drive, the analysis can actually begin. And this is going to involve typically looking at visible data, latent data, and in some instances, internet data. Visible data is data which the operating system is aware of. So this is going to be data that's going to be very easily accessible to the forensic scientist. It can encompass things that the user actually created, and it's still saved on that hard drive. So it might be things such as spreadsheets, databases, even simple Word documents. It might be stored as data work product files, or it could be stored as swap files, or even as temporary files. Latent data is going to be data that is not as easily obtained by the user. It's considered data that operating system is not aware of anymore at this point. So it has to be accessed by a trained computer expert using special programs to retrieve the data. This data can be termed into data that is found in slack space, unallocated space, in the defragmenting or swap file space, or in some instances deleted files. And finally, internet data and communications may also be of interest. Web browsers are going to store information about the sites that are visited. So a lot of this information might be valuable to the investigator. Also, sometimes simple communication information, tracking IP addresses, or obtaining emails, chats, or instant messaging might also be important. Computer file systems and data structures are very vast and complex, so it's going to take someone with considerably knowledge and skill to do the examinations of the computers themselves. Without a working knowledge of the computer's function and how they're utilized, how they're stored, an examiner is on his or her own way to begin to locate the evidentiary data. This is going to occur through 4 different steps. Initially, the acquisition of that computer itself, and then once they get the computer and obtain it, making that physical copy of the computer. Then, obviously, processing all of the data that can be retrieved from that computer itself. Electronically retrieving it by running various computer forensic programs and tools that are available. Then finally evaluating all of the data that's retrieved, and then if necessary presenting that information in court.